Hi and welcome to another episode. I'm Sarah of Horror, and hi to everyone that is returning. And if you're a new watcher, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I review movies, not just horror movies, but any type of movie that I find interesting. But yeah, mostly I've been reviewing horror movies. If you go through my videos, because it is called Sarah of Horror, but I've just switched it up a little bit. But yeah, in today's episode, I will be reviewing four different kind of movies. But I will start with a movie that has been talked about a lot. It's been named disgusting, fascinating, really intriguing, boring, and just an artsy mess. But yeah, I'm of course talking about the movie Saltburn. Yeah, I mean, in every movie group or horror group I go to, people are always posting about Saltburn. Yeah, everywhere, all the time, every day. Uh, but yeah, let's get into the plot of Saltburn. So Saltburn's from 2023. It's directed by Emerald Fennell. It is starring Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, and Rosamund Pike, among a lot of characters, but those are the three prominent ones. So Barry Keoghan plays this young student named Oliver at Oxford University, and he has a hard time fitting in and finding his place. He finds himself, feeling and being kind of awkward, but then he notices this man played by Jacob Elordi. So Jacob's character is named Felix, and they become friends. Yeah, they do. And after a while, Felix invites Barry over to his kind of summer estate house, so to speak. Yeah, so Felix is always going over there for the summer, and he brings along Barry to meet his kind of eccentric family. And then they hopefully will have an unforgettable summer. Yeah, so that is the basic plot of Saltburn. And you might be thinking, like, why are people saying that it's so disgusting? I mean, what is happening? And I have to say, watching horror movies since the age of 6 and, seeing some pretty, strange and weird things in horror movies, I was kind of prepared for the worst in this one. I was like, okay, Saltburn, give it to me. I want to see what's so nasty and disgusting. And I have to say, I didn't really find anything to be that disgusting or nasty. I was actually hoping for more of it. I mean, there were a few scenes that were, of course, the talked about scenes, and I can understand if maybe someone isn't really used to watching these types of, scenarios in movies, that they would find it disgusting. And, it's, if you do, that's completely fine. We find different things disturbing or disgusting, and it's fine. It is. It's really fine. But I thought it would be much worse. Yeah, I was expecting something much worse. I was preparing myself. Okay, yeah, I'm preparing myself just for the most nasty, disgusting things ever. But I have to say that I was quite fascinated. The movie is quite long, so it took me a while to really get into the film. But after, I think it was after half of the movie had gone, I began to really get into the film. I was mostly fascinated by the fantastic cinematography. That was, oof, yeah, just the colors, the scenery, the way the characters, were placed. Everything is looking so gorgeous. And that is probably what drew me in the most. But I have to say, Barry Keoghan, what an actor. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of different movies, so I knew he would bring in. but I didn't think that he would bring it this hard. I mean, he really did. If he doesn't get like an Oscar nomination for this performance, then I will be really, really surprised. Yeah. And I mean, Jacob Elordi did a really amazing job as well, but just Barry's portrayal of the character is just breathtaking. So good. Yeah. And the rest of the cast did a really fantastic job as well. And I mean, the screenplay, I mean, the movie has a lot of memorable scenes, for sure. They will probably stick with you for a long time. And yeah, I still think about them. And I mean, the bathtub scene is, of course, one then that sticks to mind. The vampire scene is also another one that just comes to mind. And you know, the grave scene, and of course the fantastic, the brilliant end scene. Wow, what a way to finish the movie like with a bang. I mean, I think the ending is probably my favorite thing because I didn't really see it coming, and I'm not talking about the main plot or the main intention and things that we get to know. Just the very last scene. It's such a fun scene, and together with the music, with that song that I was listening to when it first came out, you know, in the early 2000s. And I was like, wait, this is, wow, what a fun way to, you know, incorporate the song with the plot and just with the character. And I think it was a brave choice, brave move, both by the actor and by the film to compose that scene in that kind of way. But yeah, as I said, there are a lot of, you know, memorable scenes from this film. And when I stopped watching the film, I just thought about everything. I went through the entire film because, as I said, it's a long film, a lot of things to be processed. And then I just really, really liked the film. And I can understand why a lot of people were, you know, saying that, oh my God, this film is amazing, one of the best films of the year. But, you know, it is a strange and weird film, so I do understand that it's not for everyone. I can also understand the criticism of it being, you know, an artsy-fartsy film, or just having, you know, those scenes for shock value. But if I have to be honest, I didn't feel those particular scenes were just added for shock value. They were added as a way to progress or to say something about that particular character. I think that they added a lot to the story for us as viewers to understand the character. I think without those scenes, his character wouldn't have made such a huge impact, especially not with the ending. So, in my opinion, those scenes were quite necessary for us as viewers to just understand the mindset, the psyche, and yeah, and kind of what to expect from that character. So I think that they should absolutely be in the film. But yeah, I mean, Saltburn is really a wild ride. And also, another detail that kind of caught my attention in the beginning, we have a freeze frame with the logo for Saltburn, and it really reminded me of the logo for the older Hammer film, you know, the Hammer film horror movies. You know, the freeze frame and that the type of logo they had for this film just really kind of made me think about the old Hammer horror films. Yeah, and that was like a fun touch. I don't know if that was, you know, intentional or not from the filmmakers, but if it was, you know, amazing detail. But if it wasn't, then still a fun detail to discover. So, Saltburn. I would probably say that it is one of the best movies from 2023. Not the best for me. I will review what was the best movie for me in 2023 in upcoming episodes. but Saltburn was definitely one of them. Yeah, it was definitely one of the most interesting and fascinating films, just because there's a lot to kind of unpack about all the characters. Unfortunately, I cannot go into the all the characters and the story and the plot and everything deeper, because then I would spoil so many things, and I'm not here to do that. I want you all to watch the movie for yourselves and discover all of this for yourselves, and just think about the things that I may have been talking about, or not, But yeah, so what grade will I give Saltburn? I will give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. So a 9 out of 10. I mean, that is a really, really good grade. I don't know if I want to stretch it as far as 10 out of 10, but maybe if I rewatch this movie again sometime in the future, and hopefully I will, I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to having it in my collection, then who knows? Maybe I will change my mind. But yes, as for now, I really recommend watching Saltburn. So please do it. And of course, let me know in the comments your own opinion about this movie, even if they're negative or positive, just please let me know. Let's move on to review number 2. And review number 2 is of the film Blood. Yes, it's from 2022. It is directed by Brad Anderson. It is starring Michelle Monaghan, Skeet Ulrich, and Finlay Wojtek Hisang, among some other people. So in this one we have Michelle Monaghan. She plays Jess. She's working as a nurse, and she's just recently moved to a new house that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere with her 2 kids. One younger boy and one girl. So a younger brother and an older sister. And she is separated or going through a divorce with her soon-to-be ex-husband, Patrick, played by Skeet Ulrich. And it's not looking very good, or they are not, very friendly. An incident happens at the house where Jess and her kids live, and it affects the son in a very negative way, and he actually starts to change in some way. And then Jess is forced to basically make a decision to do anything she can to help her son to live. So that is, the basic plot of Blood. So when I first heard about this film, I saw that it was on Netflix. And, it didn't strike me as anything that would stand out or be, special. I was bored a few days ago, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to watch. Let's just watch Blood, finally. Yeah. And I wasn't really expecting it to be a good film. I was expecting it to be kind of mediocre. So I started watching it, and I kind of had a thought about how the movie would probably be and play out before watching it. And I started watching it, and I was like, yeah, kind of typical so far. And then the turning point happened. The first kind of incident that I wasn't really expecting it to go that way. I was actually expecting this film to go in a different subgenre of the horror genre, if I'm completely honest, and I am kind of glad it didn't. And after this incident happens with the son, Jess takes him straight to the hospital, and then he exhibits some kind of very strange symptoms for what happened, and then everything, just goes sideways basically. And I have to say that I really did feel with Jess. I also really like Michelle as an actress, so I'm happy that I got to see her in this film because, yeah, I've been like, yeah, where's Michelle Monaghan? Well, what's she up to? And yeah, this is what she's been up to, and probably a lot more projects. I have to check it out on IMDb. But yeah, and then after everything just starts going, down, yeah, sideways, and Jess is struggling, really struggling. Plus, also, this whole situation with her husband, and that is also kind of interesting because her husband clearly thinks that this is something completely different that is happening, which also puts like an extra strain on Jess and on the kids. And then Jess, being a nurse, she meets a lot of different patients, people, and one patient really stands out. There's a woman, she gets diagnosed with a terminal illness. The illness came back, and yeah, she's very sad. She doesn't really want to go through, the trying to beat the illness again. She doesn't want to go through all that process once again. And this kind of plays a part in what will happen with Jess and the kids later. And I thought that was a really interesting point and a good way to use her character more and to just, inflict some more stress into the situation. So I have to say that I did really enjoy the script. Yeah, the screenplay wasn't really at all what I was expecting from this film. So I am very pleasantly surprised. And the acting, I thought the acting was good. And it was also fun to watch Skeet Ulrich again. Always fun to see him in more projects, of course. He's, most well known for Scream, playing Billy. But yeah, I think he also did a good job in this one. I think the kids performed really, really well. And the relationship between brother and sister was also very good and very believable. And it plays, it has a huge part later on in the story. And I also think that the climax was kind of exciting. I was wondering, like, oh, what will happen? Will this happen? And how will just everything come together? How will, this family solve this issue? And I really think that the ending was fitting. It was very fitting, in my opinion. Blood. What will this movie get? It will get a 7 out of 10. So a 7 out of 10. It's still a lot better than what I was expecting that I would give this film from the beginning. But yeah, the film did really surprise me with a few twists and turns, good script, good actors, and just some good situations that I really didn't think would happen. Yeah, so I do recommend watching this one. As I said, it's on Netflix. So if you have nothing better to do and you're looking for a movie to watch, then give Blood a chance. Hopefully you will like it as much as I did. Okay, let's move on to review number 3. Okay, so the third review in this episode is actually an Asian zombie film. Yeah. And it's called Zom, like ZOM 100, Bucket List of the Dead. Yes. Oh, wow. I really overdid it with the glitter, didn't I? I didn't realize that it was so much. Wow, I'm just sparkling like, Edward in Twilight. It's fine. But yeah, moving on to the movie. I have to read the names because I do not remember them. So sorry. So directed by Yusuke Ishida. It's starring Eiji Akazo, Mai Shiraishi. Yeah. Okay. And a lot of other people. We have this guy, Akira Tendo, and he just started working at his job, and he's super excited. He's like, oh, it's my first real job. I'll be independent, make some money, super excited to really show myself and work hard, be dedicated. But then he gets to work so much overtime, like from day one he is simply overworked, and he can feel it. His mood drops, like his will to work it drops as well. His motivation drops as well, and he just doesn't want to work there anymore, but kind of has to. His boss is just giving him more and more tasks to do, more and more overtime, and yeah, it gets really busy and crazy. So moving on to a year later, he's been working there for a year now, and yeah, still not liking his job. But then one day, on his way to work, he sees something strange, some zombies. Very weird, but at first he doesn't really take notice. He's like, okay, that's weird, but I have to get to work. And then the zombie starts getting in his way. They want to eat him, so they start chasing him, and he's like, I will be late for work, stop it. And then he realizes, if there's a zombie apocalypse, he doesn't have to go to work, and he gets super happy. And he's like, yay, I don't have to go to work, because of zombies. I can call him, can't come into work today, zombies. That's a pretty good excuse. And then, yeah, he's just living his life, coexisting with the zombies. And yeah, so, that's basically the plot of the movie. We follow him, and I mean, right from the beginning, I do feel for Tendo. I can feel, how overworked he is, and, just that feeling of waking up in the morning and be like, okay, I have to go to work again, even though I worked so many hours yesterday and it was so tiring, and today would probably be the same. And I could just feel his joy when he didn't have to go to work anymore because of the zombies. And I thought it was kind of a really fun, interesting situation with coexisting with the zombies, because he can kind of confine himself to a place where the zombies doesn't get him. So he's still kind of free, but there's still a zombie apocalypse happening. But one day his freedom is kind of abrupted. Yeah, he meets people, because of course he's not alone in the world. So eventually he meets someone, because he is about to go to the grocery store to get some supplies, and there's a zombie attack, and he meets another human being as well. This movie kind of starts out with him in one place, with work, and then this confinement, and then it feels like a road movie. Yeah, road trip movie. Yeah, because they're in the car a lot, because he has a bucket list of what he wants to do. That's why it's called the Bucket List of the Dead. And him and his friends, they kind of go on this road trip to fulfill, his bucket list. And then they encounter, problems, of course, and other people as well. I do have to say that this movie doesn't really stand out amongst a lot of the other zombie movies, or Asian zombie movies. We have like One Cut of Dead, which had the humor part. It was super funny. Train to Busan, and this one, it's not funny enough to be that memorable, and it's also not like gory enough to have that aspect going for it. I mean, of course, some people die in some scenes, but it's not really like gory over the top or have like really creative death scenes. So I would have loved to see more of that for sure. But what they do have, yeah, what they do have are zombie sharks. What? Zombie sharks? Yeah, zombie sharks. And those are actually made in a really fun way. It kind of reminds me of those, I don't know if they were zombie sharks. I haven't seen this in a while, but that anime movie, Gyo, I think it was called Gyo something. And they kind of look like that, like sharks with the legs. And I thought that aspect was genius. It was really good. That is actually what makes this movie, memorable for me. Uh, but that is like more towards the second half of the film. So the first half, the pacing is kind of okay. Nothing really stands out besides Tendo's joy about not being able to go to work, and we see him living his life. But then in the second half, some more things start to happen, especially when these zombie sharks introduced. But then we also have a part where Tendo meets this group of people. They are trying to survive, and I think the pacing in that place slowed the movie down a bit. I was just really looking forward to something happening. But yeah, I have to say the zombie sharks, those were really good. Then I was like on board. I was like, yeah, okay, this is fun, creative. I love that they had them because I saw the sharks in the background. I was like, please, please let them use them. Please use them some more. And they did. And I'm super happy about that. Yeah, but I felt that this movie was okay. Like nothing super special or horrible or boring, but just I would have loved to see more craziness going on. Like maybe right from when he started to notice the zombies. But I will give this movie 6 out of 10. Yeah, so 6 out of 10 to some 100 bucket list of the dead. Let's move on to the last review in this episode, movie number 4. Okay, last review in this episode, and it is actually a Danish movie. Yeah, and this movie is called The Angel Maker. It's directed by Esben Tønnesen and Julie Rolgaard, and is actually starring Julie Rolgaard and Roland Møller and Stine Stengart. So Julie plays Laura. She's kind of an expert in the IT department at the police department, which focuses on crime. Yeah, so she's also doing a detective work. And she has just been assigned a new partner, Jesper. And they are called in for a new case. There's a serial killer killing women. And they need to find him, of course. Him or her. So that's like the basic plot of the movie. And I mean, it doesn't sound like super special or anything. That is the plot of, I don't know how many thousands of, thriller criminal movies there are out there. But I do like these kind of plots. And I was just, browsing around Netflix looking for something to watch. And I felt like, okay, this feels like the perfect type of movie for this moment. Yeah, so I started watching it, and right away we get into the action. The first scene is really good. It is exciting. I thought it was kind of well made, kind of drawn out, and I think that was a really good decision to kind of draw that incident out a bit. And then we get introduced to the characters, and right away you can feel that Laura is probably struggling with something. You can kind of read it all over her face and kind of body language. And we see like the first introduction we have to her. She is waking up early or in the middle of the night or early morning and working out at home. She's like a home gym where she works out before going to work. And she gets to work, and then they get notified about a murder that happened. They have been sent like a tape of the actual murder. Yeah, and that is where her like kind of IT expert come in handy, and they are taking a look at this, and yeah, it's quite a hard scene to watch, just because of the whole aspect of it being filmed. The killer has filmed it and sent it to police, and just the quality and how it's filmed really helped to make me feel more, sorry for the victim, and just it kind of hit harder than if this would have been like a really fancy, really high budget type of tape that he sent. So I think this kind of homemade, I wouldn't say like homemade footage, but kind of style, it really worked for those aspects in this film. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the movie wasn't filmed like that. So yeah. And I have to say that I really think that the MO of the serial killer was very interesting in this one. How he positioned the victims, like how he went about killing them, capturing them. I thought that aspect was really interesting. And I have to say that I wish that the film had put in more of that aspect of like more time with the killer, like his mindset, going deeper into everything of that. But they focus a lot on Laura. Of course, they have to, but I just didn't find those bits and parts as interesting as when the killer and his victims were on screen, basically. I wanted to kind of get to know him more, his mindset, because I felt that all of that was quite rushed towards the end. So I wish that, the filmmakers had spent more time in that department. And, it felt, kind of typical, nothing that really stood out except for the murders. And the whole cyber and IT thing kind of reminded me of, what was that movie that came out in the early 2000s, I think? Oh, Fear.com or something like that, where they also had murders and the internet. And yeah, and there are a lot of movies from the early 2000s that focused on mixing murder and the internet, and people watching it, and people being sent tapes of the actual murder. So this was kind of a throwback to that in that sense when we saw the tapes. And I kind of like that. As I said, I was hoping the screenplay would take us maybe in a different type of direction. And then when we came to the climax, like the end, it felt kind of rushed. And I was like, "Oh, I'm hoping this isn't it. Like, I hope that we at least get something more." And then I do have to say, to their credit, to the filmmakers' credit, that there is like an extra thing. And, the ending that I thought was the ending wasn't the ending, which I'm really happy about, because the way it ended, that scene was quite intense, very good, and yeah, it was very exciting. So I'm really happy that they added that. I'm hoping that was like the part of the original script, or maybe they filmed it and was like, we need something more. I don't know, but either way, that scene really worked, and it kind of saved the movie for me, because had the first thing been the ending, then this movie would have gotten a lower grade. But with that additional ending, so to speak, this movie got a little bit of a higher grade, and I'm really happy about that. So to summarize, Good Killing, the acting was good from, I think, everyone involved, and I like the tape aspect. I like the MO. I want wanted to get to know more about the killer's mindset. Got some info, but I wanted more and maybe spend some more time with him, his daily routines. But yeah, something more along those lines. But yeah, I will give this one a 6 out of 10. So a 6 out of 10 to the Angel Maker. That was the last review in this episode. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'm super happy to be back. So if you're happy that I'm back, then please give this video a like, leave a comment, leave an opinion about what you think about the movies that I reviewed in this episode today. And thank you all so much for supporting me. So see you next time, and don't forget to subscribe if you like what you saw. Bye.